Teddy's story is an amazing story, and what we have with Teddy is a young boy who grew up in northwestern Tasmania, Latrobe, Devonport area, joined the Navy during the Second World War, came from simple background and served, but decided to serve his nation. And during that service, an attack on his ship, Teddy made a very selfless decision to protect his mates who were in the water as his ship was being sunk by returning to his gun position and firing on the enemy, and lost his life in doing that. So, the bare bones of that story, even they should just so impress people about this young man and his actions. These were fights that left us a great legacy today. I mean, many of the values that we have as a country, and many of the values we defend, our freedom of speech, our ability to assemble and so forth, were really under threat by autocratic and authoritarian governments. And the legacy we have today, that Australia we live in today, is very much partly defined by that. So I think, first of all, you should acknowledge the service and the sacrifice, both men and women and families at that time. Then I think we should sit back and say, okay, what does that mean to us today? What's the impact of that legacy, of that service that we're acknowledging, and how has it impacted Australia? And then thirdly, I think there's a very important point, the active point in all this, is how do we respond to that? That generation did that for us. How do we respond to that? And I think that's a question we should all be thinking about, particularly this year on the 75th anniversary. In simple terms, and when we think about the Anzac legacy of these days, it's customary to describe that in 4 words: courage, endurance, mateship and sacrifice. Well, certainly what we see in Teddy Sheean's actions: courage, mateship and sacrifice. Very much sacrifice underlining all that, because he gave up his life at 18 years of age to do what he did. So, in terms of Teddy's legacy and how it fits into the country, where we are today and how we see ourselves, here's a young man who displayed those values to the nth degree, as much as you could, left us a better country for it, and now we should be saying, okay, what's our equivalent to that? We're not asked to do what Teddy did, but how do we respond in a similar way to the issues that face our country?